string parameter. It will call the show method which takes string as a parameter. Okay, it will call the show method which takes string and int as a parameter. String and int as a parameter. It calls the show method which takes int and string as a parameter. It will call the show method which takes int as a parameter. Understood how to demonstrate? So that's how you're required to tell. Okay, don't say first method, second method. Okay, guys. Now, I'm calling this one now. I'm calling this. When I call this, yeah, it executed. The output is 2. The output is 2. Now here, I'm going to pass a string value. Hello. Hello. The output is 3. The output is 3. Guys, if you listen this, if you just listen this one. What did I say polymorphism is? When the input changes, output will change. That only now I shown you now. Array, when the input is changing, output will change. That only I shown you now. Okay. Now guys, listen this carefully. When the input changes, output changes means, input changing means not value of the input, guys. Input changing means not value of the input. Means what the meaning? If I give 10, I want to get one output, 20 another output, 30 another output, 40 another output. Then if condition is enough to you, if condition, no need polymorphisms and all. Then when the input changes, output changes means not value. It is not value. It is not about value. It is about the type, the number and the order. I again repeat here, it is not about the change in the value. What should be changing? It talks about what change? Not about the value. It talks about the type, number and order. Means type of input, number of inputs, order of inputs. Are you clear? Type of inputs, number of inputs and order of inputs. That is what it talks about. Okay, fine. Now, let me clarify you this one also. What is that? Why return types are not considered? Why return types are not going to taken into consideration? Here I said, return types change will not be considered. I'll tell you the reason. Now confidently tell me guys, which show method is called? Parameterless, yeah, show method without any parameters. Show method without any parameters. Now tomorrow, you are defining another show method like this. You are defining another show method like this. Return hello world. You're defining another show method like this. Okay. And you change the return type of it. So both are without parameters only. Now tell me, is this an ambiguous call or not? See error there. Why error? Ambiguous call. There are two methods which are going to have this particular signature. Go to the error list and see. It will show you. The call is ambiguous between the following method show and show. See that the call is ambiguous between the following method. Yesterday I said ambiguity problem, remember? Array, within two parent classes ambiguity comes, means within the same class also ambiguity comes. Understood now why return type changes are not counted here? But parameter change will always represent a method uniquely now. Parameter change is always going to identify the method uniquely, but not the return type change. So that's why return type changes are not going to be counted. Going to call all the methods, guys. Have a look. See, what are you changing? You are changing the type, number and the order. You're changing the number, you're changing the type, and you're changing the order of parameters. Executes all the 5. Are you guys? Guys, all of you read this one. Huh? Read this. Just guys, you keep reading. Just give me 5 minutes of time. 5 minutes of time. I just a small urgent work. I just have a small urgent work. You keep reading. Just 5 minutes. I'll be back. Okay. You keep reading, guys. Okay, guys. Yeah, guys. We'll learn about them in ADO.NET, Samir. Not here. Okay. Yeah, guys. So, are you clear with the method overloading? Are you clear with the concept of the method overloading? So tomorrow, someone can ask you a question in the interviews. Someone can ask you a question in the interviews. What is the question, you know? What is method overloading? What is your answer for that? What is method overloading? See, guys, it is an approach of defining a method with different behaviors. That is, the behavior of the method will be changing according to the number, type, and order of parameters. Guys, if someone asks you what is method overloading, don't say same name, different parameters. Don't say like that. What is the answer, you know? It is an approach of defining a method with different behaviors. It's an approach of defining a method. Watch. I'm declaring a string here. Hello, how are you? I have a string called hello, how are you? Guys, in this particular string, I want to recognize the location. I want to recognize the index position of the character W. I want to recognize the index position of the character W. Index always starts from 0. So now start reading 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, space is 5, 6, 7, 8. So which place it is present? 8th place. So the index position of the W is 8. Alright guys, today my string is going to have some 15, 16 characters here I am counting. But tomorrow think yourself here, if you want to do this programmatically in the code, means I'm giving you 1,000 character string now, in that you recognize something. Programmatically you want to find out. If that is the case, there is a simple method called as index of. String is a class, already I said you. String is a class. In this class, there is a method, index of. Okay? The index of method, if at all you just pass the character, it will tell you. The method name is a descriptive or not? The method name is a descriptive or not? Array, see here, the method name is very descriptive. Index of W. Okay, na? Actually, the return type of the method is an integer. Okay? And it starts returning value from 0. So tomorrow if I say H here, it will return 0. Okay. So return type is int. Remember that. Now can you tell me what is the output of this? -1. Perfect, Ankita. -1. Yeah, there is no B. How do you say that? -1. Why? Generally, simple common sense apply here. If index starts with 1, how do you say not existing? 0. If index starts with 1, not existing, we say 0. But here index is starting from 0. If index starting from 0, not existing will be -1 now. Are you guys clear? Okay, fine. Now tell me, str dot index of O. Tell me what is the index of O? Four, not 5. Yeah, today's screening test is there. I think some of you got messages about the screening test now. Okay, the index is 4. Tomorrow, huh? I don't know. Today or tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I think. Yeah, Wednesday, I think. Tomorrow. Yeah, here, in 6, I don't have O at all. Here, 7, I have O, not 6. 4 and 7. 4 and 7. Okay? But basically, guys, the search will always start from 0. The search will always start from 0. When the search starts from 0, wherever it identifies O, wherever it identifies the O, search will stop there. Wherever it identifies O, search will stop there, guys. Oh, fine. So that's why the output is 4. But how can I get the index of the second O, sir? If you want to get this index of the second O, okay, you just require to use an overloaded method for this. What is this? The character you wanted to search, and the starting position for this search. So start the search from 5th character. If you start the search from the 5th character, where will you get it again? 7. We have one more O. How to get that? 8. Start the search from 8. If you start the search from 8, start the search from 8 now. Okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's going to be 50. Okay. Now I want to search. Where the string R, A-R-E, the string R is present in this. I want to search where the string R is present. So I'm calling index of R. So it will tell me the index position of this now. So already we know that this is 8 now. Is 8. So 9, 10. So R is present at which position? 10. So now you understand here. This is a perfect example what I can give for overloading. How many overloads of the methods are you seeing there? How many overloaded index of methods are you seeing? 3. Not 5, 3. First one, taking a character. Second one, taking a character and int. Third one, taking a string. Now tell me, suppose if there are 2 R's. If there are 2 R's here, again, do I require to pass the starting search position again now? Means that is another overload then. Like this, how many overloads do I have? I have 10 overloads to the method, guys. How many you know? 10 overloads are present for this index of. Okay. Now, the doubt what we'll be having in the mind is, why to give the same name for all the methods? Why can't we go with the different names? Yes, Kier, we can go with the different names. But think yourself. The name index of is a descriptive or not? Descriptive now? Now tell me 10 names, 10 words. Tell me 10 words which will give you the same name now. Sorry, which will give you the same meaning. If I want to define the 10 methods with the 10 names, understand the problem here. 10 methods with the 10 names if you want to give, tell me 10 words in the dictionary that are going to have the same meaning now. Index of. This is a descriptive name. Tell me another 9 names which are going to tell the index. Can you? Not possible, no? But see, all the 10 names are same, index of. What is differing? Parameters are differing. With each parameter, you will be getting a different behavior, different output. What is this? See, this method will return the starting index of a character. Means the first occurrence of a character. It will tell you the first occurrence of a character. Am I right? What will this tell you? The first occurrence of a character. What will this tell you? This is telling the first occurrence of the character, and this is telling you the next occurrence of the character. Perfect. Next occurrence of the character. What will this tell you? The first occurrence of a string. The first occurrence of a string. Same way, suppose tomorrow if I say R, 11, and I got some output, that will tell you the next occurrence. That will tell you the next occurrence. So now you see, the name is same here, behaviors are same, huh? Behaviors are different. That's what I said here. It's an approach of defining a method. See, this method is not counted like 10 methods. What is the method? Method is index of. The method is one only. The method is considered internally as one method. What is this? A method, one method with different behaviors. With the different behaviors. Now tell me, writing 10 methods with 10 names and 10 signatures is easy to remember. Writing 10 methods with the same name and 10 signatures is easy to remember. 10 methods, 10 names, 10 signatures. 10 methods, 1 name, 10 signatures. Which one is easy? Understood the advantage now? So that is what. So that is the advantage what you have. Okay. Another perfect example what I can give for you now. Right line, guys. Right line is another beautiful example for overloading. Right line, yeah. See? We call the right line method like this. 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 Yes or not? Now see, that's a perfect example for overloading. See the advantage here. You remember only one name, right line. Whatever you pass, it is printing. If overloading is not there, if overloading is not, if overloading is not supported, do I require to write the methods with the same name or different names? Are you ready to remember all the names now? Are you ready to remember all the names? Because there are 18 overloads for right line. Not 1 or 2. 18 overloads are there for right line. So remember, 18 names will be a hell for you. The day one, if I tell you all the 18 names, you'll be worried about it. But day one, I said only one method name, right line, that's all. Watch it. str dot index of. See there are 10 overloaded methods for index of. 10 are there. Character, string, character and int, character and string comparison, string and int, string and string comparison, character, int and count, like this. 10 overloads are there. Same like that, your right line method. 18 overloads are there. Watch 18. No value, bool value, character array, decimal, double, float, int, long, object, string, uint. Like this, we just have the various different overloads for this now. Guys, read this. What is method overloading? Read it. Are you guys clear? Okay, next. See, overloading. Right now, I have just gone for overloading of the methods. And all these methods are defined within the same class. All these methods are defined within the same class. But see, guys, overloading can be performed not only within the same class, but that can be performed between parent-child classes also. Overloading can be performed not only within the same class, but it can be performed between parent-child classes also. See guys, I have a class called as load parent. I have a class called as load parent. And in this particular class load parent, I'm writing a method. What is the method? Test. Very simple code. Parent class test method is called. Okay. Now come to child class. This child class is inheriting from load parent. After inheriting from load parent, you create the instance of the child class, load child, C is equals to new load child. Already you learned in the yesterday. What is it? Child class instance can be created and you can directly call the parent classes methods. You can create the child class instance and directly call the parent classes methods. I don't require to specially tell you. Already you learned in the last class. Yesterday only we just been discussed about all the things yesterday and the day before yesterday. Okay, I'm going to call it. Yeah guys, parent class test method is called. Parent class test method is called. Okay na? Parent class test method is called. Now in the same class, in the child class, I want to write another method, guys. Another method. Watch. Int I. I'm calling child class test method is called. Now see, C dot test of. You have two overloads, guy. You have two overloads. Observe it. See there, you have two overloads. One is defined in load parent and one is defined in load child. I'm calling this method. This will execute the child class show method. Child class test method. So did you understand the concept, guys? This is what I explained you. This is what I explained you. Read it. Read that. Okay, now? So this is called as what? Inheritance-based overloading. So what I'm trying to tell, inheritance is something which can be performed either within a class or between parent-child classes also. You can do within a class as well as you can do within the parent-child classes also. So like what you have done in class 1, I have class 1. In class 1, I have a method called public void test. I have class 2, inheriting from class 1. Once I inherit from class 1, here I'm writing another method called as public void test int5. So called as what? Inheritance-based overloading. Okay? And to overload this in the child class, you don't require to take any permission from the parent class. Here, from parent classes, you don't require to take any permissions here. Now answer me on the question. What is that? I want to change the name of the method as a show. I can do this now. Okay, so that's what. That's what you can see. You can do that. You can do that here. Okay. Now, can I do this, guys? Can I do this? Yes, I can do this. This is valid, guys. Guys, this is valid. I can do this. We can do is yes, it can be. We call this as method overriding. We call this as method overriding. It's a different story now. What is this method overriding? Say, if a parent class method is re-implemented under the child class exactly with the same name and signature. If a parent class method is re-implemented under the child class, exactly with the same name and signature, we call it as method overriding. Guys, did you understand that? Sorry, guys. Yeah, Mr. Jamshid Mulani, stop your video. Okay, guys, just I'm sorry. Yeah, if a parent class method is re-implemented under the child class exactly with the same name and signature, we call it as method overloading. See, guys, in method overloading, we call it as method overriding. What is overriding? Means a child class is going to write the method with the same name and signature of the parent class. Now understand, what is the difference between overloading and overriding? What is the difference between overloading and overriding? Okay, have a look, guys, all of you. Overloading. What is overloading? It's all about defining multiple methods with the same name by changing their parameters. Overloading, just now I explained to you. What is that? Multiple methods with the same name by changing the parameter. Parameters will be different. But what is overriding? See, it is all about defining multiple methods with the same name and same parameter. Names are same, parameters are same. Guys, observe, names are same, parameters both will be same. That is called overriding. Did you understand the first difference? Overloading means same name, different parameters. Overriding means same name, same parameters. Okay, now, just a minute. See, same name, different parameters. Same name, same parameters. Okay, second difference. Second difference is, can I do this within the same class? Can I do this within the same class? Can I do this within the same class? See, overloading can be performed within the same class as well as between parent-child classes also. What? No, yaar, just now I shown you and are you sleeping in the classroom? First class you done in same class only, na? Why are you telling no? You done in the same class only, na? No, you're telling. This can be done within the same class as well as between parent-child classes also. So overloading can be done within the same class as well as between parent-child classes also. Are you getting me? But overriding can be performed only between parent-child classes, cannot be done within the same class. I have proven you half an hour back. Ambiguity problem came. I have proven this half an hour back. Ambiguity problem came to you. Okay, now? So that is the second difference. Third difference. Okay. So third difference is to overload a method in the child class. To overload a method in the child class, do I require to take a permission from parent? To overload a method in the child class, do I require to take a permission from the parent? No. Already said you no need permission. But guys, to override the method in the child, listen guys, to override a method in the child, first you should take the permission from the parent. Means parent has to give you the permission. Parent should give you the permission. Okay, without permission, can't I do this? You cannot do this. So this cannot be done without a permission. You're required to take a permission from the parent and do it. Okay? Guys, all of you, read the differences. Read the differences, guys, everyone. Where you have a doubt, let me know. Come on. And you need to focus on the last difference, guys. In the last difference, what is it telling you? Last difference. Overloading means multiple behaviors to a method. I already explained you. Overloading means multiple behaviors to a method. Already explained you. But overriding means not multiple behaviors, guys. Overriding means changing the behavior. I repeat, overriding means changing the behavior. What is the changing the behavior? I'll tell you. Are you guys clear? Understood the differences? Yeah, changing the parent method behavior in the child class. Now, the doubt arises. What is the doubt? Sir, how to override a parent classes method under child class? How to override a parent classes method under the child class? Okay, listen. If you want to override a parent classes method on the child class, first in the parent class, this method should be declared as virtual. This method is declared as virtual. What virtual indicates, The virtual indicates this method is overridable. The virtual indicates this method is overridable. You can override the method. Now, understand here, this method is overridable. Now, every overridable method of the parent class, can be overridden by the child class, by using the override modifier. So what am I doing now? I am overriding. Guys, I repeat again. To override a parent class method under child class, first, in the parent class, the method should be declared as virtual. What is virtual? Virtual means overridable. This method is overridable. Okay? So every virtual method of the parent class, listen, every virtual method of the parent class can be overridden by the child class by using the override modifier. So this is how the parent gives you a permission. By declaring virtual, it is giving the permission. And now you're going to override this method. Understood, guys? Now tell me, overriding the parent class's virtual methods in the child class is mandatory or optional? Overriding the parent class's methods in the child class is mandatory or optional? It is optional, not mandatory. Arey, you don't follow what I'm telling you. I very clearly said you. Can be overridden. I said you. I did not say must be overridden. Can be re-implemented, not must be re-implemented. I did not say must be. I said can be. Can be re-implemented by the child class by using the override modifier. Means that is not mandatory. That is optional. See, guys, the concept of the overriding is something like this here. The concept of overriding is something like this. What you know? What is your question here? Your question is so funny. How to make class 2 as a parent like this? Class 3 colon class 2. That's all. Okay, fine. So guys, listen. The concept of the overriding is something like this. What is this? What you want to change to virtual? What is your question here? I did not understand the question. You asked me how to inherit, and now you are telling about something. What is your question? Let her tell, yaar. Let her tell what is she thinking? Why are you assuming? I want to make class 2 as a parent of class 3. Okay, I'm making class 3 as a parent for class 2. I'm making class 2 as a parent for class 3. Over now? See guys, what is your problem, What is your problem, you know? Without the topic being completed, you ask doubts on it and wasting the time. Let me complete the whole topic and afterwards you ask the questions. I did not complete the discussion and you ask something in the middle. I should completely give you an explanation on the topic now. Okay, guys. I'm sorry. So what I'm trying to tell you is, guys, listen. What is that? The concept of the method overriding is something like this. The concept of the method overriding is something like this. I repeat, the concept of the method overriding is something like this. What is this, you know? Parent class defines a method in it. Parent class, I'll give you a general example first to see. On some occasion like your birthday, on some occasion like your birthday or your on some festival, on some occasion like a birthday or a festival, your father or your parents have brought you a pair of new clothes. Think like this, a birthday or a festival, your parents have brought you a pair of new clothes. The pair of new clothes are given to you. The pair of new clothes are given to you and your parents have said you one thing. What is that, you know? Array, we have bought it according to our taste. We have bought it according to our taste. Okay? We have bought it according to our taste. So if you like it, use it. If you like it, use it. Or otherwise, here is the bill. Go exchange and get whatever you want. Here is the bill. Go exchange and get whatever you want. This is what your parents have said you. Okay? Now guys, how many options do you have before you now? How many options before you? Two options. Perfect, Ankita. What are the two? What is the first option? Where what your parents have given to you, if you like it. Where what your parents have given to you, if you like it. Okay? Second option, exchange and get a new one if you don't like it. Exchange and get a new one if you don't like it. Understood now? Method overriding is also same here. Method overriding is also same. What is that? Parent class defines a method in it. Parent class defines a method in it and gives to the child. Parent class will define a method and give it to the child and telling the child, you can call this method. You can call this method. Okay? Watch it, guys. Watch it. I'll show you practically. Public, virtual, void, show. So parent class is defining a method in it and giving to the child for consumption. Okay, it is giving the child for a consumption. Now child can call the method. C.show, and you see now it is executing the method also. See, don't look at 1 and 2. 1 and 2 discussion is completed. Focus only on the third one. You see now the parent class show method got executed. Okay. So parent class defines a method in it and gives to the child class for consumption. At the same time, by declaring this method as virtual, listen guys, by declaring this method as virtual, parent class is telling the child class, what is it, you know? If you don't like the behavior of the method, I'm giving a permission to you to change the behavior according to your requirement. to change the behavior according to your requirements. See, your parents have said you, what is it? We bought it according to our taste. If you don't like, here is the bill, go and exchange. See, declaring as virtual is the same as giving the bill for you to exchange. Got it, my point? Declaring as virtual is the same as giving a permission for you to exchange. So once it is declared as virtual, you're getting a permission for exchanging now. Oh, sorry, you're getting a permission for overriding now. Okay? And now you see, overriding is mandatory or optional. If you like the dress, will you exchange it? If you like the dress, will you exchange it? No. Here also, if you like the behavior of the method, if you like the behavior of the method, will you change it? No. Now see, child class, see now, executing, the child class is calling the parent class method. And the child class did not like this output. Child class did not like this output. The child class did not like this output, guys. Okay, so did not like it. So what the child class can do, the child class can now come now and override that method. How to override? Public override. When you say override, it will show you the list of all the methods which you can override. It will show you the list of all the methods which you can override. So if you observe it carefully, guys, the equals get code toString method. The equals get code and toString method of the object class are also virtual, guys. Do you understand that? Yesterday you learned now object class provides you 4 methods to you: equals, get code, get type, and toString. So except the get type, the remaining 3 methods of the object class are declared as virtual. So you can override these methods. Apart from the 3, the show method is my own method, what I can override. Apart from the 3, the show is my own method, what I can override. This is my own method, what I can override. Okay, I can override this method. And what am I doing now? I'm calling it as child class show method is called. Get type is not virtual. Get type is not virtual here. Okay, so child class show method is called. So now if you run and watch, you see the output now. Don't look at 1 and 2. I said you 1 and 2 is over. Don't look at it at all. Come on, look at it. Look at it. Now see, when you exchange, what will you wear? When you exchange, what will you wear? New one or old one? When you exchange, you'll wear the new one. That only now. Now guys, did you understand this last point here? Under method overriding, did you understand the 4th point now? Understood, everyone? Changing the behavior. That's what. Before overriding, parent class method got executed. Before overriding, parent class show method is executed. After overriding, After overriding, child class method is getting executed. Okay, so you can see what I shown you here. Here we are overloading parent classes test method in child class. Here what you're doing, we are overriding parent classes show method in child class. Are you guys clear? First one is overloading, second one is overriding. All of you, read this. Come on. Danke. Any doubts, guys? Now we can execute the parent class show method also. I'll tell about it. I'll tell it. First, you understood overriding? Understood the difference between overloading and overriding first? Okay? So the point you require to understand is overriding is not mandatory. Overriding is not mandatory. If I don't override, what will happen? If I don't override, what will happen? Parent class method will execute. If I override, child class method will execute. Understood now? If I don't override, parent class method will execute, otherwise child class method will execute. Okay? See, we did not complete this particular topic still. We'll continue in the tomorrow session still. We have still a lot to talk about it. Only I've given you an idea about what is overriding and how do we do that. Virtual in the parent, override in the child. Okay? Let me stop it here, guys, and we'll meet tomorrow. Bye, guys.
The recording has stopped.